Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Stephanie and this is Holly, and welcome to episode 1 of my very first YouTube series. It is May 4th. We've all been kind of stuck in the house for the past, how long has it been? Month and a half? And I just kind of thought it was the perfect opportunity to really just take advantage of the extra time that I have. And I know that not everybody has this opportunity or this ability, but I definitely do, and I don't like to sit around idly. I'm a go-getter, so I want to always try and take advantage of what I have and do the best that I can with what I have. So summer's only right around the corner. I mean, before we know it, literally I blinked my eyes and it was the middle of March, and everything was starting to shut down, and it's May. I mean, even the other day when I was on Instagram, I was talking on my story and I said that this was the month. I was talking about things that I was planning throughout this month, and I said the month of March, because I just, some sort of Freudian slip, I guess, I'm not sure, but summer is right around the corner, and I want to use this opportunity to try and lean out for the summer. So I'm dieting, and so I thought it might be interesting to share with you guys kind of what that process looks like for me. I am an online nutrition coach, if you're not familiar with who I am, so I just kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an insight as to what my process looks like. I do practice what I preach for the most part. I might not hold myself accountable the best as I might hold others accountable, but I guess, that's kind of the downside of coaching yourself, I guess. Stop it. It's okay. Yeah. Anyway, so it's officially 1 week since I started doing this whole process, and my issue really, and I'll be honest with you, a year ago, a little over a year ago, a year and a month ago, I competed for my very first time on the WBFF Pro stage. I won my pro card back in 2016 with the WBFF, and I officially stayed away from the stage for several years. It took me 3 years to come back. I just felt like I was in a good mind space to do it. And I worked with Peter Baker, and we went to LA, and I competed for the very first time. And, the prep was interesting. I had a lot of stuff going on, and it's just really like me. I tend to fill my plate with things because I guess, I don't know, I get a sense of fulfillment when when I nail things. It's like, okay, you have these 3 things going on simultaneously, right? And if you can really nail each point, I don't know, I get off on that, I guess. That's awkward. But at the time, I was in the middle of a move. I was moving from Connecticut to Vermont. And although it was a planned move, there are still a lot of elements of my move that were very unplanned and very spontaneous. And so that was happening. And I was also a second semester into my graduate program. I'm studying for my master's degree in human nutrition with the University of Bridgeport. So, second semester in grad school. So I'm trying to, maintain my academic standing, brand new to my nutrition program, and why not try and prep for a show? It's fine, right? Especially when that's across the country in LA. I mean, really, what was they thinking? I'm not really sure, but I had a lot of stuff going on, and situationally, kind of looking back on it retrospectively, it probably wasn't the best time for me to do the show because of everything that was going on. Also, I feel metabolically and health wise, I was in a really good spot, which is probably what really encouraged me to step on stage, because I just felt like I had finally had my metabolism in check. I was eating a lot. I was eating anywhere between, I was eating 2,400 calories before, obviously cutting my calories for diet, but I was eating a lot, and then that wasn't including, so I bartend on the side as well, so that wasn't including, I would sneak back into the kitchen and grab like chips when I was hungry, like after the kitchen would close, whatever. Usually I would prep my meals and bring them to work with me, but you know, I don't know, you get kind of hungry at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're almost at the end of your shift, so I would kind of sneak into the kitchen and grab some tortilla chips, and then, you know, obviously we would have, you know, maybe a couple shots behind the bar. So that just goes, I was just tracking the 2,400 calories. It was probably exceeding that. And I was maintaining my weight, and I felt really good in the gym. I was really strong. It was like the first time, it was the first time since I started lifting I think I started lifting in 2012. It was the first time that I started lifting where I was actually like pulling weight on my deadlift. I was hip thrusting. I was squatting good weight. Like finally, I just felt like everything had aligned so well. So that is likely what propelled me to want to compete. I was also just ready to do it. I missed it. It's fun. It's fun, you know, getting your bikini and doing the hair and the makeup and the tan, and it's a fun day. So I was just ready to do that. It probably wasn't the right time to do it, and maybe had I been a little bit more patient, I may have actually committed to the diet a little bit better than I did, but I really struggled. It was the first time that I really dieted purposely since the last show that I had done 3 years prior. You know, like, I really struggled with it. You know, I had a really rough prep in 2016, and I felt a lot of that stuff kind of come back as I was going through the prep diet. And to be honest with you, I mean, there was never a point where I felt like I was starving. You know, my calories, I think the lowest my calories went was right before, you know, the show, like a couple weeks out before my peak week. And I think I was like in the 15 to 1600 calorie range. I mean, I wasn't, if it was even that low, I honestly would have to look back at my numbers and check. But it really wasn't, I wasn't starving. You know, I wasn't, you know, super low carb. Everything, you know, Peter really kept both my carbs and my fats pretty well balanced throughout the diet. So, but it just, all of the stuff that I had gone through a couple of years prior really came back, and it messed with my head really badly, and the end of the prep was really challenging for that reason. Not to mention the fact that I had gotten a new job, because obviously, so I moved here and I got a new job, and before I was able to start bartending, because I kind of came here in the middle of a season. I live in I work in a tourist town, and winter is our busy season. And I had kind of come here right in the middle of it when, you know, all the bars pretty much had their staff. So I kind of just did what I needed to do to get in the front, you know, to get my foot in the door, with the promise that I would start bartending, you know, once the summer kind of came around. And I ended up hosting. I was a host. I was standing at the front door, you know, greeting people as they came in and seating them. And where we stand, where the host station is right where the bread and garlic station is. I mean, and it's the first thing that you pretty much see when you walk into the restaurant, and everyone has the same reaction. It's like, oh my God, this smells so good. It smells like roasted garlic. You know, you have those fresh baguettes like sitting in the window there. And I mean, and I'm Italian. So for me to be sitting in front of that on prep, I mean, and then obviously I'm hangry because I'm dieting, you know. Let's just say the last couple of weeks were really difficult. So when I finally, you know, got off stage and got myself back home from LA, you know, I really struggled with my reverse diet. And that's pretty typical of me. I struggled the last time I competed. I struggled again this time coming off of my show. And the thing is that I know what I need to do. I know well what I need to do. And, you know, I always stress even to my own clients how important the reverse diet. I mean, I won't even agree to diet somebody if they don't agree to make sure that I can reverse diet them before we, you know, go our separate ways when they're happy. The reverse diet is so important, and I know this, and I practice this, and I know how to do this, and I don't think anybody in the world could have saved me. I mean, I definitely didn't do as bad as the last time. I definitely didn't binge. I was just not eating, like, I would be like, oh my God, I want cookies tonight. So I would like make a batch of cookies. You know, I wasn't adhering to my macros, like the slow progression of them upwards as well as I should have. And obviously, you know, whatever is expected, I started putting weight on. And it was fine. It really wasn't that crazy. Like, it wasn't like a tremendous amount of weight all at once. So again, it wasn't as bad as, you know, it was back in my last prep. But it did happen. And then, you know, at the time I was like, well, I want to step on stage again, you know, and one of the things that like we noticed being at the show is that like the bikini girls, and mind you, this is 3 years ago. Well, we're in 2020 now. So 4 years ago, I won my pro card of the WBFF. I mean, the bikinis, we still were able to wear triangle bikinis. I mean, things are so different with the organization now. And being there and being on stage with some of the pros, I mean, people that like, you know, on Instagram, I mean, you can't believe that you're standing next to them. And they're big. Like, the bikini girls are big. They have a lot of muscle on them. And I was like, so, you know, coming out of that show and me obviously saying like, oh yeah, I want to do this again. Like, I can do this. You know, if I really put my mind to it and I really nail this, you know, I can do it. So I was like, okay, well, you know, Peter was like, well, we have to really build a lot of muscle. We have to build you before, you know, you can step on stage. Like, plan on taking at least a year off before we do this again. So I was like, okay. And during the summer, I really, like, I nailed it. I mean, I had no problem with eating. I was definitely eating in a surplus, but I was training 4 to 5 times a week, and I was training hard, and I got really strong, and I loved it. You know, I was heavy. I think I didn't have access to a scale the week of peak week, and I was in LA, so I didn't really have the ability to track my weight during the week. But if I had to guess, I was probably like 125. I mean, my heaviest over the summer, I was 155. I mean, but I like really didn't hate how I looked. Like, I just looked strong. It was good. And I just felt really good about it. And then some unexpected stuff happened and I had to move again. I really wasn't anticipating on moving out of the place that I had moved into, my first place here, but I ended up having to. It was very last minute. I had like 30 days to figure out where I was gonna go, and I did, and I'm super happy and I'm settled here. And it's so funny because like I'm sitting in my living room right now, right? You know, and I have the TVs right behind you with my, you know, TV stand, and I have all my things, my bookcase, everything is set up for the most part. I mean, I have this like really weird middle room in between my bedroom and my entranceway and my bathroom and this room. It's like this weird middle room that I was gonna like turn into a sitting room, but it's kind of just like nothing right now. And it's where I like work out right now. It's kind of like my gym, even though it's not. I'm on the second floor of a 2-story house, so I think that I can't be too crazy because the light might go through the floor. And I'm sure that my neighbor downstairs wouldn't really appreciate it. But, you know, a few months ago, I had posted a picture of me holding onto my halo light, which I had bought so that I could start shooting content. And if you look at the picture, I'm in this same room and it's completely empty. So it's just kind of weird. I don't really know where I was going with that. But anyway, oh, right, I had to move into this apartment. I really didn't want to. I didn't want to live where I live. I very much wanted to be, when I moved to Vermont, I wanted to be kind of in the middle of nowhere. I wanted to live in the woods, and I wanted to be able to, you know, go gallivanting, you know, through the woods. I had this one, like, beautiful river that ran through my property, and it was just so fun being able to go down there with Holly. And, like, in the summertime, it's cool because, like, as the water levels get lower throughout the summer, like, you get these little, like, banks. They're almost like sandbars, but they're not sand, they're rock. And so you just have to kind of walk through the water which isn't very deep, but to get to like the bank in the middle, and Holly and I would just hang out there like literally all day, and I would do my homework out there, I would read out there, you know, just bring a chair or a towel and just kind of hang out, and Holly loved it. But so I wasn't really that excited to move to a place where it was more considered a city. But it all worked out really, really well. Better than it was. But anyway, my whole point here is that when I did this, I like completely fell off. Like, I just completely fell off. I didn't plan my meals. I didn't prep my meals. I stopped tracking my food. I wasn't getting to the gym, even though I was 40 minutes closer to my gym. I literally live, like when I lived in Connecticut, I was 8 minutes away from my gym. I could be there in less than 10 minutes. I am probably the same distance to my gym now than I was when I lived in Stockbridge, and I still wasn't making it to the gym. So like, I mean, it was just, when I don't have roots down, like I am just a mess. So I really wasn't able, I just wasn't able to do anything. And I think in my mind, I was like, oh, well, I'm not really eating, like, you know, I'll probably just end up like losing, you know, all this unwanted like weight that I have, whatever. And like that did not happen at all. And I know better than that. I really tried to like, you know, I tried to cheat myself out of it. I'm almost embarrassed to say that, but I did. Anyway, come the beginning of this year, and then, you know, winter came around, and I was like, oh, like, what an opportune time to, you know, try and lose some excess weight before summer. I'm going to start snowboarding all the time. And that didn't go as planned either, because we had a really strong start to the season, but then like we just didn't get snow at all. And it rained a lot this winter. It just wasn't a very good snowy winter. And so it really didn't make me feel like encouraged to go snowboarding. I'm pretty sure I had more days last year on hill than I did this year. I mean, it would be like, I wouldn't even make it once, because I'd just be like, why am I going to go? Like, whatever. And then it's funny, because then it would snow on the weekends, and like, you have to be crazy to go riding on the weekends. I'm all set. So, and then just this past semester was also crazy. This past semester was crazy. I was just like, all of my time went to it. Even more, it was the most intense semester of my program so far. So I really just couldn't. I just didn't have the time, honestly, because, you know, it's like, okay, school, clients, then I would go to work at night, you know, and in the winter time, you know, there was a couple weeks where I literally worked weeks straight, because it's holidays and everything's crazy and the whole world is here. And anyway, so things just haven't really worked out for me to do what I need to do when it comes to focusing on my fitness and my nutrition. So I wasn't making it to the hill. I definitely wasn't making it to the gym. I mean, I would get there like a couple times a month, but it wasn't anything consistent. And I started to really feel it. And then I kind of started realizing that not training was like detrimental to my overall, like my skeleton. Like all of a sudden my lower back, I mean, I've had chronic lower back pain for months. That finally just started going away because I started focusing on lifting again and my flexibility and all of that. So that was a long story. I guess I kind of needed you guys to understand where I'm coming from with this. But anyway, so couldn't work after March 14th, and I haven't been working since, which is a blessing in disguise, to be honest, because I'm really getting a lot out of this time and I'm excited. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm focusing on my body, because last summer I did not fit in any of my clothes. Granted, I worked. Last summer I worked. That's all I did. I worked and I did school, and sometimes I got outside to enjoy the sun and the beautiful everything here outside. But other than that, you know, it was just a very different summer. I didn't go to any shows. I really didn't have any, like, well, that's not true. I have friends here, but it wasn't like, I'm new. I'm the new person in town. So it was like, I didn't really know anybody, so I wasn't really going out that much. I mean, sometimes I would, but I don't know. It's like, it's weird. Like, in Connecticut, when you go out to the bar, you get, you have a cute outfit, right? You wear heels and, you do your makeup really nice and, your hair and, like, you are on point. And, like, here, I think I've gone out more in my snow boots and, like, a hoodie than anything. So, like, it didn't really matter that I couldn't wear cute clothes last summer because, like, I don't know if I would ever really wear them here, to be honest. All of my heels are here. I don't think any of them will ever see outside when I'm here anyway. That's fine. So, this summer I want to be different. And I know that we don't really know what's going to go on with everything that's going on right now. Like, I don't know how summer is going to look. But I want to at least be able to fit into my clothes. So, yeah, pulled my head out of my ass and I started tracking my food and not being an idiot. And yeah, so why don't we get into the meat and potatoes of that? Why don't we, rather? Okay. So, I'm sure you're probably wondering how I'm doing this. So, I'm going to tell you guys how I'm doing it. So, I practice flexible nutrition. You may also know it as flexible dieting. I like to call it flexible nutrition because you can be flexible with your food choices and not be dieting. I think when you say the word diet, people automatically think that you're restricting yourself and you're losing weight. But so that's why I call it flexible nutrition, because you can use it during any phase of if you're dieting, if you're reverse dieting, if you're maintaining, if you are building, you can really use it at any time. So I don't like to say diet because I think people automatically think like, oh, I'm going to try the flexible diet. I'm going to try the keto diet. I'm going to try this diet. No, it's not. It's not a fad diet. It's a method that you can use to manage your overall caloric intake, and it's appropriate to use in all stages, no matter what you're doing. So all I do is I track my macros on an app. And I don't use MyFitnessPal. I used to, and I paid for it for a long, long time. And I'm looking for my macros app on here, and I can't find it. But I know my macros, so I don't have to tell you what it is. Anyway, yeah, so that's a new app you can try. Macros. It's like an orange icon with an apple. And so my macros at the moment. So I should first say my maintenance macros, or maintenance calories rather, are in like depending on like, so you have to take into consideration your activity level. It's anywhere between like 2,000 calories and like 2,400 calories. I have myself in a slight deficit at 1,840 calories. I'm eating 130 grams of protein. I am eating 200 grams of carbs and 65 grams of fat, if I'm recalling that properly. It's somewhere around there, but that's what I'm following. I've been following that for a week so far. Monday through Thursday was 100% on point, and Friday and Saturday was a little bit more relaxed, but I still made sure that I was good. Like, no, like, okay, let me clarify before I confuse myself. Friday and Saturday, I recorded a couple of videos that I'm going to be using. So I'm a bartender, you guys know this, duh. I'm recording drink videos. Every Friday I'm going to be posting a different drink that you can make. You can find that. I'm not going to post it on my YouTube, but you guys can find it on my IG, on my Instagram, and I'll be posting them on Facebook too, but it's an IGTV series called Cocktails, and every Friday I'm going to be releasing a new video on a drink that you can make. So, I had to make sure that I was fitting my drinks in to my macros. So things were not, I didn't 100% actually physically track it in my app, but I made sure that I left room by consuming less carbohydrates and less fats throughout the day. Okay, and you guys can use that method too. It's kind of called checks and balances. It's like one of those things where, like, let's say you usually like to have a lot of carbs with breakfast. Like, let's say you have a big sandwich on a bagel. You have an egg sandwich on a bagel with butter. Okay, that's a pretty caloric, calorie dense meal right there, especially if you have whole eggs. So, what you would do, like, if you knew that you had to go out to eat that night, or if you wanted to have a couple of drinks, well, what's something that you can do with that meal to help you save those calories from the fat and, the carbs that you would eat in the sandwich, for later on that night. You could use it for, dinner or drinks. You would maybe not eat the bagel. You don't have to put butter on it. You can use like a bagel thin, which is less carbs, or you can maybe do a small potato would have less carbs than a bagel, or you could do eggs, you could do an omelet, that's what checks and balances is for you. That's how you can save calories and macros throughout the day to make sure that you have enough room for whatever it is you want to do at night. So Friday and Saturday for me was a little bit lighter on what I did, or rather, I'm looser, and but I know I was good. I'm good. I can look myself in the mirror and say, you did a good job this weekend. So yeah, that rocked, and yeah, I'm super stoked. I started off at 149 last week, and I know it's because I kind of really wasn't tracking anything. Like, I knew I was getting my protein in, but I wasn't like really adamant about what I was eating, like in terms of like what my fat and my carb ratios were. So so obviously I expected there to be a degree of water loss between a week ago and now. So I feel like now what I'm at is pretty true. We'll see what happens this week coming up, how I do with my food and kind of where I'm at weight-wise next week when I weigh myself. But this morning, I weighed myself at 144.8. I don't believe that that's, 5 pounds of fat. I doubt it. A lot of it is water. So I'm really interested to kind of see how this goes the week upcoming. Also, in addition to me tracking my meals, I have increased my activity. I'm very, very blessed to have access to weights. A regular of mine at work who lives locally allowed me to borrow a few sets of dumbbells, so I have a pair of 5s, 10s, 15s, 20s, 25s. He let me borrow an Olympic bar, and he let me borrow 2 35-pound plates, a bunch of 10s and 5s. I mean, I really am so grateful. I mean, the one thing that maybe I wish I had was a squat rack, but I'm really not going to complain, obviously. And I don't really have a place to put it right now, so it's probably okay. Everything's great. I'm super stoked. So I'm weight training about 3 times a week. I kind of wrote my own program. I'm hoping to just progress at this point, get my strength back. So I'm doing a little bit of I'm doing a hypertrophy program at the moment. I'm not really focusing too much on strength other than with my deadlift. My deadlift is my strongest lift. I don't really have the means to do heavier squats or hip thrusts, but I can do deadlift. So I am focusing on shorter rep ranges with my deadlift, and I'm also running. I'm running a mile 3 times a week. It takes me about 10 minutes total right now. My goal is to reduce the amount of times that I have to rest. I'm finding that every quarter mile I need to kind of just take it easy. Today I just rest. I continue to walk for like 30 seconds and then I keep going. But I found that today I was able to actually eliminate one of those rest times. So I'm getting better. I'm really excited. So I'm hoping that I can run the entire mile without having to stop for air, pretty much. Well, you know what I mean. Not stop for air, but yeah. So yeah, and then I come home and I do this like little stretching app thing that a client actually recommended. So we have a like group community chat that we all can communicate in, and she like sent it. Oh, stop it! My neighbor's backing into their yard, God, or into their driveway. God forbid. God forbid, miss. Mind your own business, please. Thank you. Yeah, minding our own business. Good girl. Yeah. Okay. I've always kind of had like a barking problem with her, but I've taught her the command, mind your own business, and it like, she like knows exactly what it means. And she stops, and it's really funny. Yeah, you're a good girl. So a client of mine recommended that we all try this like this stretching app, and it's supposed to help you progress with your splits. And at first I was like really skeptical. I'm like, oh, like this free app on the App Store, like, yeah, how good is this? And I tried it and I actually really like it. So I've been doing that about 3 times a week as well, on days that I'm not lifting. So I'm trying to do my running separate from my weight training. I'm trying to do my weight training and then keep my running and my stretching to other days. I also worked with somebody who specializes in mobility improvement last week. We did our first session on Wednesday. It was about an hour and a half long. We're going to be working together on a bi-weekly basis. I'm really excited for this. It's something that I'm completely new to, so I'm really excited to learn a few things and to also help improve just everything. Like I had mentioned, 30 has definitely been painful. I definitely have a few new aches and pains, my lower back being one of them, and that's something that's brand new for me. And that has definitely gotten a lot better since I started focusing on stretching and just kind of self-care in that regard. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really hoping that it kind of helps me progress to be heavier in my lifts, especially with my squats. I find that I have a difficult time progressing in weight. So I'm really hoping that we're able to kind of correct some of that. Definitely know that I have a couple of imbalances as well. So I'm really hoping that, I can try to address those things with him. So I'm really looking forward to that. We did it right over Instagram last week. It was awesome. So just really looking forward to kind of continuing with that. So yeah, guys, that's it. This one's probably a little bit longer than the other ones will be. I'll probably keep the other ones a lot shorter. I'm sure this is probably like a half an hour long at this point. So if you're watching this still, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing this every week. And I hope that you guys enjoy watching too. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. You can also find me on Instagram at _Stephanie Mercurio. I'll make sure that you guys are linked to that below. And I also have a blog that you can check out. That's www.stephmnutrition.com. You can also find a way to get in touch with me there as well. I tend to like to post a lot of things a lot of assignments that I do for school on my blog, as well as just kind of post some informational things that I research personally. I'll post all of my YouTube videos on there too, so that's kind of a good hub for things for all of my stuff that I put out too, so you can follow my blog as well. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to share this with somebody who needs to see it. Maybe give me a like, maybe give me a subscribe. I would appreciate the support. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next week.